This is a mess. So I gotta remember what I was doing. Also, the game is just really dark, so let's lighten this up a little bit. Alright, so last I remember, we were kind of searching around the town looking for stuff. There was something I had seen online that I wanted to go double check. There are a lot of dead bodies. Yep. That's... What? Oh, it's a flying thing. Okay, I was like, what the fuck is that? Now, if I remember correctly, if you look at this, some of the items you see certain things. It's been forever since I played this. I'm gonna put stream discussion over here so I can see you guys better. Stream chat, go! I mean, the Owl House is Gate Gravity Falls, and it's amazing. What is your point? I love Amity too, Pam. I think Amity's fucking great. Honestly, I don't have a character in that show I don't like. I think everybody's pretty fucking wonderful. But I haven't seen season 2 yet, so don't spoil shit. Unfortunately, we just have not had the time, and lately we've been watching Invincible, which has been really, really good. I really dig Invincible. There's a lot of really good stuff in it that I think is really solid. So, okay, so we got the special thingy. I believe we already came in here. Yep, she's already dead. We already whacked her. There's a computer device. I think we already went through this. So we're still in the old mold. Still doing the old mold. Okay, so I think we're still exploring the town. Oh no, the fucking memes are great. One sec though, I'm gonna pause this. I'm gonna come over here. You're gonna pop out here for a second while I change some of my settings. Alt-Tab. Wait, let's just do... Wait. Let's go out, and let's go to... this, and I'm gonna make myself offline because I don't want shit to keep popping up. There we go. Locked from the other side. Well, fuck. Should homeschooling be banned? That's a tough one. That's a super tough one. I'll be honest. Oh, I didn't turn the game back on. I'm an idiot. There's a game. Should homeschooling be banned? Full answer, I would say no. I don't have necessarily an issue with homeschooling in and of itself. I think my issue with it would be is I think it needs to be held in like a certain level of regard, and I think it needs to have a certain level of I think it needs to have a certain level of like quality. I think where I get really, really uncomfortable with homeschooling is like when it's like cloistered religious groups that are just spreading hate. Like, they're not really teaching their kids useful information or critical thinking. They're teaching their kids how to be little versions of them, and that shit's cringe. Yeah, it needs regulations, it needs standards, it needs, like, a lot of fucking shit. So remember correctly, there are werewolves around here that I am still dealing with. Is heavily associated with... Yeah, it is. And so the thing is that I guess our answer would be partially framed in, is there a way to separate those two? Because I've known a lot of pagan families and various other groups that also do homeschooling. So it's not... Even though the association is there, I've seen examples of it not being specifically for Christians. Right? So I think the question is how do you differentiate that shit? My answer, as always, is ideally, I like people to have the freedom to do what they like. If they feel like teaching their kids, they'll do better. I think it's fine as long as it meets a certain standards and their kids are passing tests. Now, again, if they're spreading shit like, you know, the planet's only 5,000 years old and, you know, shit like that, well, that's a different discussion. You know what I mean? Like, if we can ask the kid and the kid's like... The kid is just spitting out religious mumbo-jumbo, like just absolute nonsense, then I kind of go, this starts to take on a thing where it's like this kid is actually learning the necessary skills to do this. But that gets into even the public school question. Like... Fuck off me! Fuck off me! Get fucked. If I remember correctly, Q spins me around. No, unschooling is shitty too. I think that we need to reconsider, like, what does school do? We talked about this on the server like a day or two ago, but I'm very much of the opinion that I feel like the question is what is school supposed to do? The goal of school is to teach critical thinking. I think we need to restructure the way school functions, and it may be that homeschooling isn't compatible with that. It's absolutely true that it can stop abusive it absolutely can hold children in abusive environments. That is absolutely true. What the fuck is that? Get away from me. With the current state of conservative ventilation, I am authoritarian pilled. I'm not. I prefer... I get the leaning. I get the leaning in regards to... That's true. Homeschooling can also take kids out of abusive environments, especially if the school itself has issues of maintaining safety, or if you're in a particularly like conservative area and you're a gay kid, for example, it might be better for you to be out of the school if you're being, you know, treated like shit by a bunch of conservative kids. Like, I think this is not a black and white issue, guys. Like, maybe I'm being overly centrist here or some shit, but like, it doesn't feel like this is a simple like yes, no. It feels like it's a yeah, I think we need to reconsider like how school works as a whole and then go from there. Well, yeah, that's the problem, is like no school is, which is why we need to kind of restructure the way we think of school. My biggest thing is the school doesn't teach kids how to fucking fill out a checkbook. It doesn't teach them how to do critical thinking. Like, I don't really think a kid necessarily needs trig unless they have a job that's going into trig. I feel like studying for a career. Yeah, absolutely. Like this is my big issue is that like I feel like we have to come at this from multiple angles, and the big one is what is school supposed to be? If school is supposed to be towards the public good and making things better, then I think we need to aim for that and actually teach people critical thinking. Now we can get into like the to whom it may concern, due to Luther's long absence, I am holding his housekeep. Please find me if you need it. Fit in with a gardener. Okay. Probably not that key. Well, and this is one of the things I also think, I agree wholeheartedly, Spectacular, but like one of the things that I think is important is like when we had kids doing virtual learning, I've had many clients tell me that like the bullying that was happening at school stopped like entirely because they were no longer accessible to those people. Like that's kind of a big deal. I also agree with the cooking and sewing. I could have done with so much sewing training. Because I don't know how to do any of that shit. Did she just fucking growl at me? Get fucked. Also, world history. I think world history is a hard one. I'll be honest. Why am I not authoritarian pilled? Because I generally believe that, like, freedom is best. Though the reason I do feel like I think the authoritarian leaning makes sense is if you truly believe that, like, you have the best idea of what you think the world should be, that you want to enforce that. My concern with that is that everybody thinks that. I don't feel confident enough in anyone's position to say that that should be the full and enforced way of being. To me, that gets into some really weird shit. Yeah, teach kids how to take care of babies. Like, human shit, guys. Like, what? I don't think this is, like, too hard. Just teach kids, like, how to do human shit. Like, I'm not saying they can't learn advanced math, too. I'm not saying they can't do that stuff. But, again, like, we don't teach kids... Like, we just don't teach kids how to exist within this world. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves when I was working at my previous job was that there was a ton of kids who were like supposedly doing, you know, they were doing okay, but all of a sudden they'd be like suicidal because the issue was these kids would be like doing 100 different extracurriculars, trying to keep up with their school shit, and then suddenly they would be like overwhelmed and freak out because they didn't have any real skills. Yeah, I'm just not convinced maybe of the idea that like well, that goes with logic in general and with critical thinking, right? I think logic and critical thinking are one and the same in my humble opinion. I think that you should absolutely teach both of those together. Kids should know what a fallacy is. Kids should know what... Yeah, rote learning does suck. I don't know why we do it. It doesn't lead to good outcomes. So it's that key. I don't have that key, I don't think. Iron key? No. Oh. Augers. Well, and my thing about that, Lucy, is I don't think we should learn them later in life. Like, unless you're talking about, like, the more advanced stuff, like, I don't know why kids need trig in, like, 11th grade, but for fuck's sakes, like, teach them how to balance a checkbook. Teach them, like, what it's like to actually, like, deal with balanced budgeting. Like, why don't we teach people, like, the necessary ways in which to create... you know, sustainable living. Instead, we teach them like a bunch of esoteric shit that doesn't work. Well, yes, the fact that schools are by their nature like funded by property tax is insane because it immediately leads to disproportionate outcomes. Like, full stop. It just leads to disproportionate outcomes. So you can't just jump onto this. That looks like it's not a good idea, so... maybe we... Let's see, the fact that schools are funded by property is smooth-brained, I agree. Can we talk about how a lot of critical thinking are taught in inaccessible settings, like in AP or IB? Yeah, abso-fucking-lutely. Like, that's by definition, and the kids that are usually taking those classes are the ones that usually had more resources, which leads to a whole, like a literal discussion around the class, like, the way that class influences, like, intelligence. I mean, we know this very clearly. Kids in low-resource areas tend to show less skills overall, and that's because we, like, via the power of capitalism, we essentially, fuck whole generations of people. It's fucking, like, it's just the way things work. Your superintendent's a dickbag. Holy shit. Get fucked, chicken. Gotta kill the other chickens. Also, we need to note that the learning structures is severely unhelpful to people who are neurotypical or have good mental health for that matter. Just Slayer chickens. True. I mean, yeah, I mean, the problem is that there is probably a sizable argument made that we need to sort of restructure the way we think about classes and school to be more I guess, more effectively accessible to neurotypical, like neurotypical, neurodivergent people. Like, I just think that's a thing. My school had to lay off 30 since the holy shit, are you serious? The embezzlement was so bad they had to, like, literally raise... that's so fucked. That's so fucked, Viet Pam. I'm so sorry. By the way, Viet Pam, every single time I see your name, all I can think of is Pam from Archer, and it makes me giggle. I guess we're jumping in this house? This seems like a terrible idea. No wonder you're fucking angry. Like, that's just awful. That's insanity. Well, and especially when you think that that money came from property taxes that were paid by the people, and then on to obviously, like, this is money that could have gone to the improvement of children. Like, the whole thing just rings out as, like, really toxic and horrible to do. Like, holy shit. Sacrifice 2 goats to Mother Miranda. Offer wool to Mother Miranda. She instructed I find a list of drugs and tools for the next day. Wonder what for. Da, da, da. No mother from... I'll turn to White Crystal. And she smiled. This is the chosen child. She will return to her original form no matter what befalls her. Then she gave each lord a part of the crystal that fell. Ah! What did they do to that child? I'm still shaking. The wing key is just a single piece. 3 more keys will make it whole. Got it.
Damn it. Better see the Duke again.
Return to the Duke. Oh whoa or ooh woo? I'm an ooh woo fan personally. Oh whoa seems really aggressive. Preschool had an incident like that, but nowhere near as bad. The principal and full reign of the balance. Buttholes. Fair. You have put a lot of thought into this. I literally just watched the click. Topic-y, wop-icky.
How was it? Did you learn anything?
I found these feathers. Now tell me how to fix this like you said you would.
Settle down. First, you must use that key and collect all of your little roses flasks.
Where are the rest of them?
There are 4 in total. You have the one, and the other lords have the rest.
Lords?
Mother Miranda is the cold, calculating ruler of this village. 4 lords serve under her. The first you've already met, the Lady Dimitrescu. The second lives deep in a valley of mist, the doll-maker, Donna Beneviento. None of her playmates have ever come back from that dank old estate. The third is Moreau, a being of twisted flesh that lives in the reservoir past the windmills. It is said that he is not the only monster that lives in those waters. The fourth and most dangerous is Heisenberg. He works in his factory on the village outskirts. And the project, let's just say parts of the human imagination are better left alone.
That's fine, Zena. Just do what you can. Oh.
If you truly wish to save your daughter, you must first gather the 4 flasks. I'll do you a personal favor. I've marked the Lord's locations on your map. Some treasures still lurk in this village. I'm sure each one will prove of great use to you.
Why are you doing all this?
Why, it's all part of our first-class customer service. Please do come again soon.
Duke is so weird. So those are the doors. I see. That's fucking awful, Viet Pam. I can see why you're a little bit black-pilled on the whole thing. Go back up here because I have a question. If I unlock that door, does that take me back down to that part of the village? That takes me to the doll lady. I'm not looking forward to that shit. I did know about the Twitch strike today. And it has seriously made me consider not streaming on Twitch. Because it seems like Twitch is even more lax and still unwilling to deal with shit as much as YouTube is. Like, if you guys ever wonder why we don't stream to Twitch, the major reason is because I, one, feel more comfortable with the UI for YouTube, and two was because in order for me to stream to both, I have to pay money to Streamlabs, and, well, that would be fine and great if I was making enough. Initially, when we started the channel, that just wasn't realistic. So there is a bit of a concern here about, like, I guess a good way to put it would be, like, there's, like, a concern there about, like, is it worth my time and money to actually attempt to actually make the whole thing a mod for trans. We've been getting a lot of hate raids. I don't doubt that in the slightest. I've been hearing so much garbage from fucking, like trans femme. If you're a femme in any way, like, Twitch is just unsafe for you. Well, part of it's laziness, and I'll be honest, part of it I honestly think is just misogyny. I just think they don't care. It's not even just laziness, it's just a bizarre form of really shitty apathy. Okay, so what am I doing up here? This is the ceremony site. I don't know why I came here. Okay, wanted to check back here and see if there was anything I missed. There wasn't. Moving on. A lot of dead motherfuckers over here. Before I go find the next lord, I do want to see if I can unlock parts of the town. I know that happens throughout the game, supposedly, but it appears like there are, like, there's these wells. I want to go try the wells real quick. That seems like a good use of my time. It's not like I don't have enough bullets to take out werewolves now. Twitch is such a mess as moderation of TOS. See, I don't know anything about their modding. The problem is with, like, I'm gonna be real honest, as far as it goes with, like, the debate stuff, I'm kind of on the same, like, view as Demon Mama. That is, if you're trans femme, it's just not safe for you. Like, and I just think that's something we need to, like, actually grapple with, right? Like, the idea that it's been a while, like, I mean, like, let's be super clear. Not only is, like, Twitch not safe for trans femmes, but again, like, it's a combination of systemic racism. Yeah, it is, absolutely. With, I would add in the additional problem of, there's no real, like, market incentive to force them to do so, right? Unless people were actually going to, like, just stop using Twitch. Why, like, what actually is going to make them stop? That is kind of my inherent concern, is that, like, I don't know how you force a huge platform like that to do something unless you have a pretty sizable stage leaving. And the problem is, we saw what some of the more popular streamers did. They basically just said no. Hey, what's up? You couldn't get it to work? Okay, what do you want to do? Why don't you just hang out on Discord with people? One second, folks. Alright, I'm back. So we'll play for another half an hour, and then I'll basically just call it for the night. Kind of do a short game today. Mostly just get some stuff cleaned up in the village while I talk to you guys. So a streaming competitor would be nice, Ash. I think the problem is that I don't know why. It seems like there's a direct effort on the part of YouTube to try to, but they don't really put a lot of back into it, do they? The problem is I don't think it's a question of a new platform either. I think it's a question of, we need to, I think there needs to be some very real pushes to just fundamentally change the way we, discuss TOS in these regards. The TOS for even YouTube is hyper fucking lax. We need to be honest with ourselves about that. It's hyper fucking lax. Oh, there is a thing back there. No, full stop. Absolutely correct. I wholly agree with that. The idea that laissez-faire capitalism can do anything other than just make more rich people is not just a failing of the education, the illiteracy of people. It's also just people lacking a basic level of common sense. I'm sorry, it just stands to me as yeah, the free market seems to not actually spread out the wealth. It doesn't seem to actually allow for people to have a deeper and more impressive engagement with their lives. What it does is seems to hoard wealth in specific ways. It also allows corporations to buy each other up until they become megacorps. Disney's an example of this. Most of the fucking companies who do cleaning products, things like that, are all one. This is just the simple way in which this stuff seems to function in a laissez-faire system. And we don't even have a laissez-faire system. We have something, more close to it than I would like. But this could be infinitely worse. Again, in laissez-faire capitalism, you don't have fucking regulations to protect you. Holy shit. That's... Imagine that. And we already have, people, skipping OSHA regulations and shit like that. Imagine they just didn't exist, where they didn't have to give a fuck. I just gotta murder more chickens. Alright, it might be coming up on the time where I need to go see this new lord, because I'm not seeing a whole lot of other places I can go to. We'll try. We'll wander around for a bit. Not showing my comments is censorship. I'm gonna be honest, I'm just sort of done. If anyone ever comes at me and says anything about, TOS being censorship, they've officially lost the, adult game. I don't know, maybe I'm being a bitch about this, but if you say to me that, you think YouTube banning your nonsense is somehow a form of censorship, No, it's their platform. They can do whatever they want, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form okay with the idea of like. I do not know why we want to deregulate the market and our financial system just study the 19th century. Yeah, like, guys, like, there literally was, like, robber barons and shit. Like, this all happened before. Why are we trying it again? And it's because there's money to be made. The simple fact of the matter is that the Republican Party doesn't care about human life. They want to make money in the short term. It's why they're okay sacrificing the planet and pretending climate change isn't real. Yeah, the robber barons during the Gilded Age. Basically, there was a point when capitalism was even worse. And basically, it was people who ran around being hyper wealthy while simultaneously basically bucking any kind of human rights abuses. Like, read about the Gilded Age and basically what happened to the fucking, like, economy at that point. There's a reason why we moved away from the gold standard, too. Because the shit didn't work. If I remember correctly, at least. Maybe I'm remembering my history a little off. But yeah, like, there was very real... The system was even worse if you can somehow believe that. Like, again, it took socialist fucking, like, people to actively protest to such a degree. Yeah, children's doing, chimney sweeping. Gotta love that shit. Some of these doors close and they just sound like fucking creatures, and it's just not great. Yeah, there was like, you have to remember, like, the reason why we have, like, OSHA regulations or kids aren't allowed to work at a certain age is because socialists, like, unionized and fought back against these assholes. Like, this was a thing that happened. There is a well back here. There's also a treasure up here, but I can't seem to get to that yet. Yeah, the reason why our system has even got the regulations it does now is because people fought to get those protections. But that's basically what has been trying to be being eroded for this whole time. This is why they attack unions. This is why they attack all sorts of systems. Because, like, there was a point where workers had some rights in this country. Now, granted, it's never been perfect because, let's be clear, the United States has never given a single magical fuck about labor rights or people. We do what we basically, you know, what we basically are forced to do and not a goddamn bit more. I need to learn how to fucking make, lockpicks. This is irritating as shit. There we go. Oh yeah, no. Like, some of the shit that happened in the old days was insane. Like, what was it? The Pinkertons? The families they would send to fuck with, like, unions and shit like that. That shit was crazy. Cool, sniper rifle ammo. mean, yes, the world is cruel, but unfortunately that seems to be the basic state of things. The fact that we've gotten to the point now where we can be here and be, like, talking over a stream and discussing this stuff is a market improvement. I mean, it just is. The problem is we have to keep striving for those. This is why politics often causes people to just lose their shit, is because in a lot of ways, like, politics is not like quick wins and simple changes. It is the fundamental constant pushing of society in the direction necessary for growth and for human life. And it's always hard, and it's always arduous, and it's always difficult because we don't change easy. That just seems to be a fundamental part of humanity. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that, but we don't change easy. If things are the way we have them, they make us comfortable, we stick with it. Well, what's the alternative? If we don't keep fighting, we just, what, cease being? I mean, I legitimately think that, like, a lot of times why people start going the tanky route or other routes is because they become so, like, how do I put this? So one of the things that I think leads to, like, I'm gonna call this, like, political pathology, let's say. This is just a hypothetical. People who are like tanky, stuff like that, the reason why they indulge in authoritarianism, they don't just play with the idea in certain cases, they literally, like, embrace it. And I think this is because they get so frustrated with the inability of things to move, so frustrated with the inability of things to, like, change at the speed they want, that they start wanting to force those changes in some really aggressive ways. And I think the biggest problem with that is that it leads to some really unfortunate problems. When you force changes, there's going to be a sacrifice. In the case of either authoritarianism, you're going to have that, you're going to have freedoms lost. The other way this happens is that, at least in my experience, what it does is it means that you kind of lose the plot as far as how to handle these things. So yeah, I think it gets complicated. I think that's the problem, is why I'm very, very skeptical of accelerationism, particularly because accelerationism seems to universally operate under this sort of notion that there's got to be some sacrifice for the future that you want, and I think the biggest problem is that I just don't see that happening. The reason why President von Hitler appointed Hitler as chancellor is because the top capitalists in Germany petitioned Hitler for the... Yeah, exactly. Well, it's why the benevolent dictator trope is so fucking loved by people, right? Because there is something about the idea of just solving it, just being done with it, that I think attracts people, and I'm always skeptical of it because I can see that little thing pop up in everybody, myself included. The desire to want to take control. No, I'm right with you, Lil. I'm generally very skeptical of it as an idea because it seems to either, one, want to do authoritarianism, or B, generally leads to the outcome of wanting to throw a particular minority or group under the bus. This is why class reductionism is fundamentally untenable with progressivism. I very much believe that. I actually think class reductionism is an anathema to genuine change. Requires the gradual, pragmatic approach. I'm not even saying just gradual change. I'm actually saying go one step further. If you see an opportunity for quick change that's going to have a net positive for the world, take it, do it. But otherwise, it's going to be arduous movement, and just realize that that's what politics is. Yeah, no, Ash, exactly. Like that's the problem is that the rich are only part of the problem. The rich are, by their definition, just people who have figured out how to function in a fundamentally toxic or shitty system. The issue is you get rid of rich people, not in some violent coup, but you get rid of rich people in regards to not allowing people to get to that level. Like, why don't we ever talk about the notion of, like, this is the weirdest one for me. Why does nobody talk about the notion of getting rid of the idea of unlimited wealth? Why is wealth so sacrosanct? Why can't we have limits? That anything over a certain amount? I think left populism can work, Fiat Pam. I think that right populism is just fascism, I'll be honest. And even left populism, I think that in a lot of cases can lead back to fascism. Like, let's be clear, the Nazgul vortex is real, right? Like, my understanding of what the Nazgul vortex is the idea that certain leftist beliefs, especially class reductionism, if implemented in a certain way or behaved in a certain way, start to lead to what looks to be populism, but in a very right-leaning way. This is what Peter Coffin, Caleb Maupin, and all these people argue for. They claim to be leftists, but they argue for things that the right asks for, like authoritarianism. Like, be really clear, China's an authoritarian state. They advocate for that because that's what they want. Okay, I'm gonna try going back through here because I kind of want the chest that this is telling me is here. Tied to. I just want to get into the. I just want to get back into her place because I think I missed something. Maybe there's a way to go back. I don't know why you can't just jump across there, Ethan. What the fuck? Get fucked. Also, please get fucked. Yeah, kisses at midnight. I'll come join you in a bit. Let me. Okay, these birds need to shut up. The fucking environment in this game is insane. One of the things is that if you're ever willing to throw a particular group under the bus for some particular like grand aim, I'm always going to be skeptical of the actual goal. Like, let me be very, very clear here. Like, I think that there needs to be a very real discussion about how we want to be in the world. And in my world, I want people to be able to live and be safe. I have no idea why my computer is chugging like this. Holy shit. Also, what is going on with these trees? Well, that's a human skeleton. Love that for me. Oh, we are in doll land. This is... I hate this. Oh, doll land is the worst. I'm gonna need a save point soon, because we're gonna end from here. But where the fuck? By the way, if you like the stream, please feel free to subscribe, like. You're also totally cool to donate. Streamlabs.com/transgirltherapist/tip. Become a patron, become a member. Help us out. We're pretty cool people. We do good work. I think we do good work. Is the first best section the one with the lady with the big tits? The hell? I wish the Enlightenment advocate for... Yeah, well. Honestly, I feel like the problem is we gotta come up with something better. I feel like terms have been really, like, battered. The term socialism itself, like I've said before on this channel, is in and of itself very much, problematic. If only for the fact that I think it's just been so poisoned. Well, it doesn't mean anything anymore. And so to me, like, one of the best things we can do is we gotta start thinking outside the box. This is something I agree with Demon Mama with, is we need to start thinking about different ways to sort of organize it.
What?
Get fucked.
Ethan, come with me. There's something I have to tell you.
What the fuck? I am tripping balls.
What's going on?
Ethan, you're tripping balls. Before I go into the creepy-ass house, I'm gonna...
Rose feels different. Ethan, you have to fix her.
What the hell is this?
I just need a save point. Ooh, save point.
Everyone leaves me. Even Rose.
Well, to be fair, Mia, you're kind of a bitch. You slapped my hand with a ladle. Like, I'm sorry, but you're kind of awful. Hot tip, don't smack your partner with a ladle. Or threaten to take all the wine. It's really weird. I agree. Well, and it's also one of the things that via Pam, like, one of the reasons I've been exploring a lot of the philosophy and understanding around, like, plural folks is because I'm trying to understand, like, even our conception of a singular solitary self is in of itself Eurocentric. So it's a very interesting kind of thing to sort of pierce at or play with. Somebody died and they put them in that thing.
Am I losing it?
Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Shut up. Give up your memories? Oh. I mean, it's a shitty picture, so it's not that deep.
What's going on?
Some crazy bullshit. There better be a save point in here. I don't have to run all the way back to him. God damn it. I may have to run all the way back to him. God damn it. Oh, I don't get to go back. The trees said no. God damn it. Fine, be that way, trees. I guess I gotta go in here. Hopefully there's a save point. I don't want to go through this section in a rush. Like, I'd like to actually explore it. God damn, this is like the longest elevator. What the fuck? Holy shit, Ashenson, thank you so much for the $5. Deeply appreciate that. Deeply appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Oh god, I was facing the wrong way. Holy shit. Look at that. I had to get a picture of that. That's fucking hot. Oh my god, look at that. That waterfall. God, this game is fucking pretty. Yes, it's true. First blood has been drawn. House Benedito. There better be a fucking save point. I don't want to deal with all these hallucinations if there isn't a save point first. Do I think that Marcus is still necessary for the function of society because they are benefit? Do I think or do you think? What are you asking? Are you asking if I think that? I think markets are useful. I don't know if there's a way that we can move away from those. I don't know if people are in that place yet to conceive of that. I just need a save point. What is going on with my game? Did it... Oh, it fucking crashed. Holy shit. It fucking crashed. That's so fucking lame. Okay, so I'll have to figure out where we are with that.
Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can also ring the bell if you want to be notified of our videos. If you want to help the channel, you can donate at streamlabs.com/transgirltherapist/tip. You also can become a patron at patreon.com/transgirltherapist. For as low as $3, you can support our channel. Thanks for watching.